You can teach your dog to ignore the things that you're constantly struggling to keep him away from. Yes, you can, and he's gonna learn to love it. I am so excited to share this with you. I'm gonna share with you one of the best foundational games that there is. What is this game going to teach your dog? It's going to teach him to stay. It's going to teach him to listen to you. Eventually ignore distractions. It's going to teach him to love playing games with you. And it's going to teach him to love their kennel. Oh, and it can teach him to sit. It can teach him a recall. It can teach him so many things to get to a new environment. It's going to give you the power to have so many new experiences because you're going to be able to train a great recall, right? So how does this game work? You don't need any experience. If you have no experience or whatsoever, this is the best. If you just got a puppy, this is the #1 game to play. This game is huge. You can never play it too many times. So what do we need for this game? We need a dog you want to train, #1, a positive mindset. You're gonna need 2 kinds of treats. We're gonna need high value and low value. What does this mean? Well, you know your dog, and if you don't, this is the time to get to know your dog better. So you're gonna need treats that are really exciting to your dog, like, whoa, like he goes crazy. Of course, don't overfeed your dog. So maybe at their breakfast time, play this game, or at their dinner time, play this game. This is gonna be super fun. So get it could be a bucket, it could be a container somewhere. Get your distractions together. The dog is the last thing that comes into the picture. Have some that are not that exciting to your dog, and we're gonna start with those, and then we're gonna slowly increase the distraction. Okay, so where are we gonna start? We're gonna start with teaching our dog to target a mat. I've taught this in another video, so please go find that video if you haven't taught your dog to target a mat. Why is it important? Because we don't want to force our dog into a kennel. We don't want to make him scared of a kennel. We can put the mat in the kennel and we can ask our dog to target the mat. Right? It's a little bit easier than forcing the dog into the kennel. If this becomes too complicated, another simple way to do it is just throw a piece of cookie, like a piece of food, into the kennel and have your dog go in and out, in and out, in and out. Once we're past, this is step #1. Once we taught our dog how to target the mat and get in the kennel, you can move to step #2. What is step #2? Your dog is not gonna come out of the kennel in this step. He's gonna stay in the kennel, and we're gonna build the value for being in the kennel. Amazing things are gonna happen while you are in this kennel. So he's gonna go in the kennel, and then you are gonna have the door closed. And what you're gonna do is you're gonna open the door, only open it enough that your hand can go in there, and you're gonna feed the treat as far as you can into the kennel. Why are we doing this? Because we don't want the dog to learn that the treats come right at the door of the kennel, so I need to be right there ready to get the treat. What we want the dog is to be way back. That way, when we're in the next step, we have time to close the door without slamming it on their face. So it's important that you feed all the way to the back of the kennel. With this other hand, you're able to stop the dog from coming out. That way you don't squeeze their legs or their face or anything. And then you can close the door, right? So what we're saying is like, that is not the behavior I'm looking for. You stop the reinforcement of him coming out. It's like with a kid. If you're gonna say please, we can go get the ice cream. If you don't say please, we don't get ice cream. So step #3, this is where the fun begins. This is where the distraction training kind of starts. And that you can start with this, like you throw maybe, like we were talking, throw the book or the magazine. And if the dog is like staying there, you reward, but get excited, get happy, like, good job, that was such a good decision. And you reward for such a great decision. Okay, then next you start raising the level of the distraction, right? You can have your kennel closed and you open it and you do the distraction. If he fails, you close the door. Like if you see his bum come off the kennel, you automatically close the door before he even comes out, right? So he didn't do anything, so I reward him. Good boy. This is one of his favorite toys. We're like giving the dog the understanding that the door can stay open and you will get a reward for waiting there. And don't worry, if the dog gets out of the kennel, it's not the best thing. Just try to not let it keep happening, right? But don't overstress, like, oh, everything is ruined. We're not striving for perfection, we're striving for progress. So the next step is where your dog actually comes out of the kennel. So this is the concept. we have built such a high value for being in the kennel that when we release our dog, he should want to go back to the kennel. Right? This is how it's gonna work. So pick a release word that you don't use all the time. Like for my boy, I use break. For my girl, I use chow. You can use banana. But now that you picked your release word, it's time to start using it. So you release the word sunshine, and then you like pat the dog, encourage it, like, yes, come on, come on. And you're gonna give him the low value cookie, okay? So that way it's like, when you come out, it's like, yes, it was okay. It was like, I got a carrot, but when I go in there, I get steak. And for this step, you're gonna have your dog in a leash. So you're gonna be stepping on the leash, and once the dog comes out, you're gonna just kind of become a statue. You're just gonna stay there. And like, you don't have to like stare at the dog. You can if you want to, but you're just gonna see what he does and wait. If it goes over a couple minutes, it's time, your dog is saying, I do not have enough value. But just wait. Probably in like 15, 20 seconds or less, your dog is probably gonna start like, oh, I'm not getting reinforcement. What did I do last time that I got that yummy piece of meat? Oh, I was in the kennel. And they go back to the kennel. And when they do, have a big party, big celebration, like, woohoo, get your fun flag out and start like celebrating your dog, because we want your dog to associate like, wow, I got in the kennel and she got really happy. She really likes that. Wow, I can't wait to do that again. Only play this part of the game a couple times and then like have a break. You know, like we want to have the dog keep wanting more. We're building the drive. And don't worry if your dog like kind of like goes in slowly. Like, it's still awesome that they decided to go in the kennel. You know, you're not forcing the dog into the kennel or intimidating the dog into the kennel. You build the value to where the dog wants to get in the kennel. That's something to celebrate. You can elevate this game to so many lengths. You can make it like a game where you teach a recall, which we can make another video in the future about this. It can be a game where you teach more heavy like distractions, that you can take your kennel outside and get some distractions outside that are like difficult for your dog to ignore. Of course, don't jump straight into that. We first build the confidence of being able to do the skills so many times that the dog really, really feels confident about that, and then we raise the challenge, right? So when it starts feeling really easy, then yes, you can elevate the challenge. So how do you add a cue? Don't add a cue at first. Like, when do I tell my dog to get in his kennel? Once you've played the game of the dog coming out and going into the kennel several times, and you are confident your dog wants to get in the kennel, what you're gonna do is And for this, we're gonna want to clip the door so our dog doesn't get injured or scared of the kennel. That's the last thing we want. You're gonna hold the dog back and you're gonna get him excited, like, oh, you see that? You see that? Are you excited? Are you ready? And you can like amp up your dog. And then you're gonna say your cue. Kennel! Or whatever you wanna say. I say kennel. So you say kennel and you release the dog. And they're gonna like, you know, because you've excited the dog and they're gonna run. Maybe they don't run like a sprint, right? But maybe they do start trotting or they get excited, their tail is wagging. Whatever signs of happiness that you see, take that as a win, right? And now you've taught your dog to stay. You've taught your dog to love a kennel. You've taught your dog all these beautiful and amazing skills that make a great family pet. And you are gonna have so much fun, my friend. I can't wait for you to play it. Go have some fun. Go enjoy your dog.